Deadlift, conventional, halting progression. The deadlift is one of the most effective functional movements for building muscle and strength, engaging nearly every muscle in the body. It's a key exercise that everyone should include in their training. However, learning to deadlift with proper form is crucial for building a strong core and lower back while reducing the risk of injury. Poor technique, especially with heavy loads, can often lead to lower back pain and strain. For this reason, I like to teach the deadlift from the top down. Once a client has mastered the rack pull, both above and below the knee, it's time to introduce the bottom half of the deadlift. This is where the halting deadlift progression comes in. I like to break the deadlift down into two separate movements. The first is the hip hinge, where we focus on sitting the hips back and leaning the shoulders forward over the bar while using the lats to keep the bar close to the body. In this phase, we're taking the bar from hip height to just below the knees. The second movement is the knee bend, where we take the bar from just below the knees to mid-shin. This phase can be tricky because it requires maintaining the torso angle while bending the knees. There are two common mistakes in this second movement. The first is continuing to hinge at the hips to lower the bar, which turns the movement into more of a Romanian deadlift than a conventional deadlift. Once the bar passes below the knee, the torso angle should remain unchanged. The second mistake is sitting the hips down too much, allowing the knees to move forward and creating a more upright torso. This turns the movement into more of a squat rather than a deadlift. As the bar moves from below the knee to mid-shin, the shoulders must remain forward of the bar and the hips and shoulders lower at the same rate to maintain proper alignment. A couple of helpful cues to remember. Number 1, keep your shoulders forward of the bar as you bend your knees and lower the bar to mid-shin. Number 2, keep your knees behind your shoelaces. If your knees shoot forward, your torso will likely lean back, turning the movement into more of a squat. The halting deadlift is an excellent tool for learning the deadlift because it forces you to pause between each phase, reinforcing correct movement patterns. Here's how to perform the halting deadlift. When learning this movement, it's best to take the bar from the rack and start from the top. Step back from the rack and stand tall. Imagine bending the bar by twisting your hands into the bar towards your pinky fingers. This creates shoulder external rotation and increases the tension in your upper back, which you must maintain throughout the movement. Next, soften your knees without bending them too much. They should be slightly off lock. From here, lean your shoulders forward and over the bar as you sit your hips back. Stay active in your upper body. If you relax your arms, the bar will move away from your body. Instead, engage your lats and pull the bar in towards your body. The bar should lightly touch your thighs as you hinge at the hips, lowering the bar just below your knees. At this point, pause for 3 to 5 seconds before moving into the second phase. For the second movement, bend your knees while maintaining your torso angle, lowering the bar down to mid-shin. As you do this, keep your shoulders forward of the bar and engage your lats to pull the bar in towards your shins. Avoid letting your knees shoot forward past your shoelaces. Notice how the hips and shoulders move down at the same rate, helping you maintain the correct torso position. Once the bar reaches mid-shin, pause for another 3 to 5 seconds before reversing the movement. To return to the standing position, first focus on maintaining your torso angle and keeping the bar close to your shins as you extend the knees to bring the bar back to just below the knees. Do not fully lock out your knees here, keep them slightly bent. Then, keep your shoulders forward of the bar for as long as possible as you extend the hips and stand up straight. At the top of the movement, the knees and hips extend fully and the shoulders move behind the bar. That completes 1 rep. Once you've established correct halting deadlift form with an empty barbell, you can start adding weight. It's best to use Olympic-sized weight plates, as their diameter is ideal for deadlifting from the floor. Smaller diameter plates force the bar to move lower than mid-shin, which isn't recommended for beginners. The halting deadlift is an incredible tool for learning correct deadlift mechanics, as it breaks the movement down into separate components, making it easier to master. Give it a try and see how you go. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel.